Welcome to Special Educators Resource Room. I can't believe I'm saying this, but today we are celebrating our 100th episode. So whether you've been with me since episode 1 or you're just tuning in, I am so grateful for each and every one of you. This episode is all about celebrating, so let's get started. Hey, Special Educators, I'm Jennifer from Positively Learning. Welcome to the Special Educators Resource Room. If you're like me, you're always looking for ways to save time and streamline your work. That's why this podcast was created, to give you the systems and solutions you need to get your time back. Tune in for tips, tricks, and tools that will help you manage your workload and make the most of your time. Whether you're brand new or experienced, all are welcome in the Special Educators Resource Room. Hey, Special Educators, it's Jennifer from Positively Learning. Over the past 99 episodes, we've been covering everything from setting up independent work systems to handling the IEP process like a pro, to collecting data without getting overwhelmed, and even how to effectively support paraprofessionals. It's been an incredible journey, and today I wanted to do something special for this milestone episode. So let's jump right in. I thought a fun way to celebrate 100 episodes would be to recap some of the top strategies that have made the biggest difference. I pride myself on keeping it real and trying to share things that you just couldn't easily Google or read in a book. This brings me to the first tip: how to prep for IEP meetings without losing your mind. So prepping for IEP meetings doesn't have to feel like you are climbing this huge mountain. My go-to strategy is to plagiarize yourself. This means you're going to sit down and you're going to write those present levels and those goals and the emails that will be sent out, the IEP agenda, everything that goes on in the process. And then you're going to take all of your work and turn it into a template so you can plagiarize yourself and use it again and again. This is not just a shortcut to save time. This is a shortcut to make sure the outcome is high quality. You've spent all of this time setting it up. Now you can use this template almost like a checklist to make sure nothing gets forgotten. Episode 84 is called Build an IEP Toolkit to Save Time Later. It's all about what you need before, during, and after your next IEP meeting. It's a quick podcast and it gives you a list of all the things that you need and time-saving tips. It's episode 84 and I'll put a link in the show notes. Tip number 2 for this celebration episode is all about taking data. I've done many episodes about data collection, sharing some quick tips, and those episodes always rank in the top 10. My number 1 tip for data collection is to keep it as simple as possible. No fluff. There are so many helpful tools out there: digital, performance tasks, basic skills checklists, and I've talked about all of them. But first things first, you don't need a full data binder. You need 3 to 4 forms that are always there for you. In episode 82, I talk about those data forms that every special educator really needs. And then I mention some other ones that are nice to have after that foundation is built. Tip number 3 is all about supporting paraprofessionals. Now, I've done many episodes on how to effectively communicate and support staff, but the number 1 download is way back with episode 3. It's called Paraprofessional Training When You Have Absolutely No Time. Listening to that title, it makes sense that that's the top download, but it makes me cringe because way back then, I wasn't exactly comfortable with a microphone. I did try to re-record and add some new tips in episode 81. It's called Exactly What You Need to Support Paraprofessionals. So I'm going to put a link to both of these episodes in the show notes. If you're looking for some cute gift ideas and creative ways to help all the adults in your classroom feel warm and fuzzy, these episodes aren't for you. They are bare-boned. They are talking about what you need to support paraprofessionals and staff with expectations, having those difficult conversations, and implementing visuals. Now, I do have a link to some free sticky notes that you can print out and put on some gifts for paras, and they are pretty cute. So I'll put a link for those in the show notes as well. This episode is all about celebrating 100 episodes of the podcast and sharing some top tips. And this brings me to my favorite topic. You know how passionate I am about independent work systems, and I talk about setting up systems that are really going to work. My number 1 tip for this area to make your systems as successful as possible is to start small, build routines, and keep that consistency. When student materials are consistent, that means that students aren't going to be wasting time trying to figure out how to do the task. Instead, they're going to know what's expected. They're going to be familiar with it. This is going to help students focus on the actual work. They can jump right in because they recognize the structure of the task. So whether you're using a task box, a file folder, or a work binder, students aren't spending all their energy trying to figure out the directions and the different formats every time they sit down. Instead, they're focused on the task itself. Consistency also can reduce anxiety. When students know exactly what they're working on and how those materials are laid out and presented, it can provide that sense of control and confidence. Students learn to trust the process and their ability to complete the tasks independently. So I'm going to sound like an old person here, and I am totally okay with that. If you're looking on TikTok and you're looking on Instagram or Pinterest or wherever you're looking and you see a lot of the bells and whistles, it's okay to be super excited, but we also have to use some discipline. Students need to get that consistency under their belt. Then they can grow in confidence. Then they're growing their skills. Then we can add more bells and whistles. But at first, we want to keep it as simple as possible. Ugh, I hate how I sounded just now, but I really do believe in that. How do we keep this consistency going? I know for me personally, whenever I was looking at choosing resources to put in front of students, I would be looking for availability. Maybe I would try out an activity for free, or it was $1. And then if it worked out well with my students, I would be able to implement the rest of them. Maybe it's a year-long bundle or resource that's going to be available for the other skills. If it was a free resource and it was kind of a one-hit wonder, even if it was super engaging, I would often skip it. And it took a lot of discipline on my part, but I would skip that activity because why would I have students working so hard on learning how to use that activity and then there's no follow-up? There's nothing after that. That doesn't seem like a really good use of their time. And that doesn't mean we weren't open to trying new things, but I was just really careful about choosing high-quality resources that provided that consistency. It's really hard to choose just one episode for this celebration on the topic of independent work tasks, but I think it's going to be episode 90. It's called Taskbox Time Savers, and I will put the link in the show notes. All right, that's it for this very special 100th episode, but we're not done celebrating. I have something very exciting to share with you. I'm going to be doing a giveaway, and there's 2 ways that you can enter, and the prize is a $25 gift card to TPT or Amazon, your choice. So here's the 2 ways that you can enter the giveaway. Number 1, I'd love to hear from you. I've created a quick survey. It's a Google form to help guide the future of the podcast, and your feedback means everything. You'll find the link to the survey in the show notes. Filling it out will enter you into the giveaway. Number 2, you can leave a review for the show on your favorite podcast platform. Not only does this help other special educators find the podcast, this is also another way to enter the giveaway. So you can enter once by filling out the survey and again by leaving a review. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on what you'd love to see next on the podcast. Thanks again for listening and for all of your support. I'll catch you next time in the Special Educators Resource Room. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'm dying to ask, what'd you think? Be sure to hit the follow or subscribe buttons so that you never miss an episode. You can find the show notes and links for everything mentioned in this episode at positivelylearningblog.com. See you next week for more special education solutions.